Hey guys, Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am with Jake
Hey guys.
and Brian.
What's going on?
And Sony just had a pretty impressive E3 showing. We're going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 2 for this particular video. If you like the video, definitely throw us a like. If you have any thoughts on The Last of Us 2, throw it down below. And if you love us, sub us. We're also doing a giveaway. If you subscribe to the channel at 150, 200, 250, etc., we're going to be giving away one of 5 Steam keys. There'll be a link to that below.
The
All right.
second to The Last of Us.
The second to The Last of Us. Can I just start? Can I just let it out?
You can start.
Yeah, dude.
That was it. I know Nintendo has to go tomorrow, but I do not see any way that this is going to get topped. That was insane. That was just from like a visual standpoint and just a like pristine performance throughout. That was all the bells and the whistles were there. That was insanely good. It reminded me so much of the original Last of Us demo that was very similar to this, where it had this like insanely good, insanely polished demo, and you're watching it and you're like, there's no way that this is going to be in the game, and then it's in the game and it's just as good. That's what I took. It was just stupid good.
It looked fantastic. I mean, I didn't get to play the original because I don't have a PlayStation, but I mean, it looks amazingly beautiful.
I mean, I bought a PlayStation 3 to play this game.
Right.
So this is what I'm saying is that demo got me to buy a PS3, and this demo is like of that caliber where like if I didn't own a PS4, I'd be like, oh fuck, I gotta play this game.
Right.
Yeah, this actually looks pretty good. Like, this is not probably the type of game that I would usually be into, but like even just watching the demo, like excuse me, a lot of times with these kind of games that are supposed to be cinematic, like you get in a lot of trouble with the camera not like doing what it's supposed to, but it looks really fluid. Like it looks like you're watching a movie that you're playing at the same time.
That's how the original was, and they pulled it off.
Again, they've done it again.
They've done it again.
Sony
No,
seems
this
to
looks-
have a thing for the cinematic gameplay because they have God of War, which is very cinematic.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you touched on the single shot that God of War carries through. I mean, Death Stranding, can't get more cinematic than Hideo. So they have a lot of these like cinematic, atmospheric games recently.
And another thing that I noticed that I really liked about the first game is like the combat is just like so visceral. Like we're used to all this hyper violent shit in video games. This is like you
Like,
almost
when they-
don't want to when they take the guy's entrails out and
That's
you
what I
see
was
them
gonna say.
dangling,
When that
Right.
dude's intestines was hanging out,
and you're like,
this is a good game, dude.
they fucking did it, dude, and that's in-game stuff. That's
And this
nuts.
is wasn't the one where they broke that chick's fucking arm to little tiny
Yeah,
pieces?
yeah.
Wasn't that in game as well?
That
Like,
was-
Well, it was a cutscene.
but still, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see Black Mass, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
With Johnny Depp?
It reminds me of that. The violence in that movie was very like, it wasn't your typical movie violence. It was just like raw and hard
Well,
to watch. Whereas
I
this
think
is
for
very
this game, because it's kind of like the road, right? It's like kind of like the struggle for
right.
survival. They have to make it visceral. It works. It's one of those things where like that gameplay meshes well with the story. That like visceral combat meshes well with what's actually going on.
But
Right.
it's not like a Pulp Fiction kind of thing. Like it looks really like disturbingly real.
Yeah.
You know,
Speaking
like
of
it's not over the top and like blood everywhere and like jibs, but like, you know, it looks good, man.
Yeah. You know, something else that I noticed that I was just like, my God, how did they fucking pull that off? It is like usually when things interact, there's like clipping, right? Like when characters
Yeah.
interact with each other. That kiss was
Spot
unbelievable.
on. Yeah.
How they were doing that.
Well, that whole like scene looked
That whole scene was insane.
really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
like it looked like something you'd see out of a low budget CGI movie, but still like a fairly major CGI.
But that's nuts that this is running,
On a PlayStation.
On a PlayStation, on a
Yeah.
console that came out in
On a console.
2013.
That's pretty crazy. So, Chris, I have a question. Because one of the things I noticed in the gameplay trailer was the stealth seemed very forgiving. Was that the case in the original as well, or is there a difficulty setting for The Last of Us usually?
Yeah, so in the first one there were 2 difficulty settings, but they kind of went hand in hand, and it wasn't so much a difficulty as a feature. So in hard mode, they disabled this mode that would essentially allow you to give you kind of like an echolocation thing. So if somebody made a sound, you'd kind of be able to see where that sound was made from. And they kind of disabled that in The Last of Us 1, depending on your difficulty. This, I mean, yeah, I think to an extent, some of this was engineered a bit, you know?
Right, that's the other thing is
I
these
noticed,
are
like,
always
they-
kind of staged.
Yeah. But again, like the original Last of Us had a very similar demo, and you were like, "Oh, this is staged," and then you played the game, and you're like, "Oh wait, that was the part from the demo, and it was perfect." But yeah, I noticed like if you watch like the UI, she's always down to like her last bullet, which is pretty Last of Us, granted, but like she's always down to her last bullet and stuff like that. I did think it was really cool. She like hacked someone up, and their arrows like fell out of their quiver, and she picked them up as like
Yeah.
actual arrows.
Or when
That
she's
was
like
pretty
running
cool.
and picks up the bottle and just like clubs the guy in the face with it.
That's in
No
the
hesitation.
original Last of Us, like the one that came out in 2012. You could do that. So
Right. The arrows falling out was really cool because I don't think I've ever played a game where, like, killing an enemy doesn't result in like a very like loot drop.
yeah,
Like that was, I don't know, that was just unusual that there's something like an item. I don't even know how to describe it, but that was weird, but awesome at the same time.
yeah, that was. I mean, I'm honestly trying to think of, and just the way that they did the cutscene in the beginning where she was like, everyone should be afraid of you or whatever, you know? She was like, oh, I'm just a girl, nobody should be afraid of me. And she was like, oh, all the boys are going to be scared of you. And then they showed all that shit that she did. You know, they cut to her like digging a fucking shiv in a guy's neck. And then they go back to the end cutscene at the very end and they're like, yeah, see, everyone should be afraid of you. Like, I thought that was perfect. I can't find any fault in this.
Yeah,
I really can't find anything wrong.
it looks great.
Well, I mean, if you want it to be fucking COD, if you want it to be an online battle royale like shooter, then I can see how you would find fault in it. But you know, if this is what you like, if this seems like it's pretty much you know what I'm saying? Like it is kind of a niche thing, like where the game is like cinematic like that. Although maybe not so much now, because like but The Last of Us 1, when that came out, that was like it was a little bit nichey that they did that.
Yeah.
Although
I don't know. This is definitely like, I think this has a lot of like broad appeal. It looks, even just on the visuals alone, even if the game fucking sucks, I think this appealed just from the visuals.
Oh yeah.
at the start of the conference, they introduced Worldwide Studios, the head of Worldwide Studios, and they've made God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and now The Last of Us 2, all very successful. Well, I'm assuming Last of Us 2 will be very successful, but all huge cinematic single-player games. So they've been doing something right, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I think Sony is on a roll, man.
It's nice to see something different too. Like
Right.
that's not just you run around. There's 100 or something other people, and you try to kill them all. Like there's a lot of Me Too's out there, and this is definitely not that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, The Last of Us Part 1 had a lot of. I feel like if you were like a dad or whatever, you would relate to it like really heavily. Same with God of War, where it was. I mean, that game was very clearly made for like dads. It was Sony being like, we get it. The average gamer is like a 30-something-year-old parent or whatever. It'll be curious to see who they try to make you relate with in this one, because she's pretty old. She's an adult now, at least. She's not, you know, in her 30s, but she's also in a very gamer you know, a mature rated
think she's in
game
her
playing
30s?
person. Yeah. No,
like
she's
late
not in her 30s.
teens,
She's
maybe mid.
she's late teens, early 20s. Yeah.
Well, I
And
mean,
the other guy, my point is Joel, who I think you were kind of supposed to relate with in the first one. He's, I mean, he's still there, but he's not a dad anymore. So it'll be interesting to see who they kind of focus on.
well, and maybe it'll be. I don't know. This is kind of dangerous territory, but like maybe it'll be interesting for like chicks of this age to actually get a game with a protagonist who's like not just boobs. Like,
Oh yeah,
Lara Croft was a fucking badass, but you might as well call the game Lara Croft Booby Raider because that's all anybody's playing for. But this is like, I don't know, man. Like this is fucking cool. This is
yeah.
like,
She's a strong
she's a
woman.
yeah,
That's for
you wanna-
sure. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they had Horizon too. Not that that was as narrative driven as Last of Us is, but another dominant female protagonist in that game.
Yeah. This game's fucking sick. I can't wait till they fucking push this
And
out.
you've seen most of E3, I think, Chris, of EA and Microsoft and Ubisoft. Would you say this is your favorite game announcement, game trailer, gameplay?
Dude, I don't know what Nintendo's got cooking tomorrow, but they got their work cut out for them. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
This is about as polished and good as it gets, I would say. Unless they do some crazy Metroid Prime 4 thing that's unbelievable, I do not see how they could top this.
I mean, it's not going to be graphics that top it, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Breath of the Wild, when that intro trailer hit, you kind of got a grasp of like, oh, this is the scope. You know, this is like, it wasn't the visuals that took you. It was, oh my God, this is what this game is. This is enormous.
Right.
So I think they could do something impressive like that, but this is just like fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. I mean, I'm good if you guys are good.
Yeah, dude,
I'm
that
good.
looks
I'm
interesting.
floored. I'm floored.
That was beautiful. I mean, do we want to touch quickly on the rest of what they announced? I mean, it was a lot of
Nah, I think
solo
we're
games.
gonna do some other videos.
Sounds good.
I think we're gonna be doing some other videos. We're gonna have a lot of E3 content, in fact. But that content's coming later. So until then, Brian, what should our listeners do?
No, that's right, Chris. And if you guys think that decapitating bandits with a machete is romantic, make sure to let us know down in the comments. And as always, click that little ringy dingy up in the top right-hand corner so you get updated with all of the cool shit like those new E3 videos we're going to have coming out going on the Cohesive Friendship Unit channel. And guys, smoke them if you got them. That's all for me tonight, Chris.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, again, tons of E3 content coming your way. We'll catch you guys next time.